Is Safemoon a fraud? And is it anywhere near as original as people make it out to be? All this and more coming up in this episode. Everything in this video is my personal opinion and not to be used as personal or tax advice. Let's not mince our words. I believe Safemoon has committed fraud. There's two very important parts of a cryptocurrency, and they're both the white paper and the smart contract. Last episode, we had a closer look at the white paper. This time, let's have a look at the smart contract. Just a little bit of a teaser because we will have a deep dive into the smart contract at a later date. Now, if we check their website, we can see, unfortunately, up the top, the two most important parts aren't even in the main menu anymore, the main header, which is quite unfortunate because I guess in transparency's sake, they should be up top. It looks more like a dropshipping Shopify website. But if we scroll all the way down here, we can see the smart contract, which leads us to where it was uploaded on GitHub. Now, the contract is where all this juicy stuff is. You want to find out how the functions of the cryptocurrency work, how the transactions work. You really want to do your due diligence here, and this is the most important part of a cryptocurrency. You can see if it's all just marketing or if there's actually a fundamental use for the token and just how correct the marketing is, if it's all just gimmicks or if it actually is truth. Now, of course, you need to think of a smart contract like the American Constitution or a Bible or something similar. Like, it's the magnum opus. Everything revolves around the smart contract. The most damning part of this whole project is if we have a look at the GitHub repo, here we can see the 100% community owned and driven. No rug is possible. So essentially what this means is that the Safemoon team can't pull money out of liquidity. This is completely false. They've even admitted as much in the CertEC audit. Now, if we have a closer look at the CertEC audit here, in section 4, centralized risk in ad liquidity. Now, this was the major severity issue, which they haven't really addressed, to be honest. If we have a closer look at their alleviation, they go into, in regards to owner control, we are a fair launch governed by a central board which is subject to governmental regulations and law. We're a legally registered entity in accordance to the law and jurisdictions in which we operate. But here's the best part. Safemoon is very different from other projects, and our differences provide more security for the community versus anonymous teams and projects. Risks in regard to rug pulls or anything else is mitigated. So it is possible, but it's mitigated. Clearly, there's a discrepancy there, and I believe this is quite honestly fraud by any definition, as they've encouraged investors to invest in their money in the early days because they thought it was completely rug pull free, completely fraudulently. But anyways, so they go into the fact that every member of Safemoon would be subject to litigation and likely a swift prison sentence. Well, they haven't even doxed the main person behind Safemoon. Who knows who he is? They call him Safemoon Dev, and nobody knows who he is. He's this mystery shady character, the main person behind this whole crypto. So much for transparency. But additionally, outside of the law, our social lives would be in ruin, and we would not be able to show our faces in public again, let alone get another job. This should be taken into account when looking at the Safemoon project as a whole. Well, not only have they said it was rug pulls weren't possible, but now they're saying, well, trust us, it won't happen. Well, I couldn't have said it better than Thomas myself, and then he did in this live stream. Let's have a look.
So we have this B token code, and B was kind of a smaller rug pull. Our big difference is that we're paying attention to what the longevity of, what's capable with Safemoon. And then also, you're going to find that we're never going to rug.
Now, I couldn't agree more with you, Thomas. But unfortunately, there's a narrative out there that because some of the Safemoon team has doxed themselves, or at least released their names publicly, that no rug pull is possible, just like they've mentioned in the CertEC audit. But let's have a closer look at the B token here. Here we can see that the team has been doxed. We've got Jonathan Chow, but hang on, what's your name? Thomas, you just mentioned that B token rug pulled, but they've all been doxed. There's plenty of YouTubes of Jonathan Chow talking on YouTube, and there's plenty of images of him on Google, but these guys have managed to get away with it. So in your words, they've rug pulled and managed to get away with it. Doesn't really add up with your alleviation to the Certec audit, does it? But as I mentioned, let's have a closer look at the code. Now this is in the GitHub repo again. If we have a look at the code, they did such a sloppy job. They didn't even change the B token comments. Now, of course, these are comments and they don't actually change the code. But of course, if you want to be a cryptocurrency of nation states, like, well, if you can call Gambia a nation state, or more rather a banana republic. But here we can see that they've managed to leave B in here. They also leave references to Shiba and Doge, and my favorite part is this. They go, Safemoon features. 3% fee auto add to the liquidity pool to be locked forever when selling. 2% fee auto distribute to all holders. Well, clearly we know that's both false because it's 5% each. Gets even better though. I created a black hole so B token will deflate itself in supply with every transaction. But hang on, you've also mentioned that 50% is burned at the start. We can check on the Binance Smart Chain that only 40% or 41% was burned manually. So this is also quite false, and anyone doing their due diligence reading this, investing into it with the belief that this was going to happen, has been defrauded. It is completely unethical that this stuff even exists. But it also gets even better. A lot of these functions, like they've mentioned in the Certec audit, it references, instead of pancake swap, they mention Uniswap. This is a blatant copy and paste. There's a neat little website called Token Sniffer here. We can have a look at just how similar all these projects are. So this compares different projects and or checks the code and sees, has a look at when it was deployed. Here we can see, unfortunately there's no filter by deployed date, which would be quite nice. So then we could see just how many were before Safemoon and how supposedly different they were. But here we can see Pig Token released 2 days before Safemoon. And if we have a closer look at just the differences, there's a neat little feature with Token Sniffer. We can have a look at just the few differences in code. So this is the Safemoon code. It is, well, quite large, as you can see, a large copy and paste that is. There's mentions to Ethereum, B token, and Uniswap, as we mentioned. It's really disgusting copy and paste, or fork, as they call it in programming language. But if we go back to the Token Sniffer, we can see the only differences between Pig Token, which was released before Safemoon, are really just in the names, of course, that pretty self-explanatory, but just in the liquidity fee. So everything else, all the other features, is exactly the same. Something that I think is very important in the cryptocurrency space is transparency. And it seems like Hank from the team, or Henry White, also thinks the same. Unfortunately, this is demonstrably not true. Because if we go to the Safemoon Protocol Twitch channel, they've gone ahead and deleted all of the past Ask Me Anythings because they've included very incriminating, content. So one of the things I downloaded all these videos so I can rewatch them, write cliff notes, and bring them up in other videos because just endless amounts of content. I think a lot of people thought I was just going to make one Safemoon scam video, but literally there's going to be there's going to be a lot of videos, probably 100 or so, on this whole scam because this is unbelievable, the amount of stuff that you can find on here. I think one of the things that I should also mention is that, look, one of these things might not trigger a red flag for you, but so many of these little things should add up. And ultimately, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something that I'm going to mention many times over in these videos. So they've gone ahead and deleted a lot of these videos. There's just these popular clips, but the whole live streams have been deleted. Now, this is quite worrying because there's plenty of great clips, such as them saying that Mandela was very, 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 very close to listing back on, I think it was April the 24th, or was it March the 24th? But that's clearly never happened and it's never going to happen. Just like the Binance listing, that's never going to happen, guys. But this is the way the Ponzi scheme works. They've got to keep on enticing you, marketing all this gobbledygook to you to keep on pumping the stock or pumping the cryptocurrency. So you guys bring your friends in, bring your family in so they can have more money for themselves because the early investors are getting rewarded through reflections, through their minimal input at the start, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. But now for a little community announcement. I too can front run my follower numbers. But let's go ahead and take on some FUD in our What the FUD section. Now, in the last episode, we mentioned anonymous key technology. There was quite a bit of FUD around this because no one was really sure whether it was a company or whether it was just anonymous key technology. Instead of a company, just a type of technology. Now, I can assure you that this is the company that they have partnered with. I've got absolutely no doubt. But let's have a look at what our good friend Braden mentioned last AMA.
Partners.
Fantastic new partner.
Anonymous Key Technology, they're an encryption group. They're a lot stronger than today's standard, and they're NIST certified for, I mean, these are nerdy words for the people in the encryption space, but NIST certified, you can go look them up. And then we've also...
Did you hear that? He mentioned you can go look them up. But there were no links at all anywhere, nor on Twitter, nor on the actual live stream, nowhere. How can we look them up? Clearly he's just feeding the FUD. But I'm pretty sure that this is the company because since the last episode, we can see that the URL, AK code, and both ages as well, redirects now to anonymous key. Completely different URL or domain. And look at this, they've actually updated the SSL certificate. Hoorah! We've got a little bit of progress, but that is incredibly worrying. Another criticism that I got was the Ghost Recon video with Braden Caroni. Now, look, his confected outrage was quite ridiculous because he did mention racist things. And look, I've got 2,500 videos of myself on YouTube as well, playing games. Very, very similar. But the outrage that he purported in his video, where he didn't even take on any criticism or fear, uncertainty, and doubt what people had with Gambia, all he did was just call people's racism out. It really didn't make too much sense, and it sounded quite like our good friend Greta over here.
How dare you!
Funnily, in her little diatribe before that, she also did mention,
And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
Did I hear anybody say to the moon? Alright, but let's have a closer look at some of these comments because there were some great ones. Unfortunately, one of the comments that I did notice quite a bit was that I was deleting comments. Now, look, I'm a pretty big free speech fundamentalist, to be quite honest, on the nutty side even. So that did worry me quite a bit that people think I'm even deleting these comments. One of the main guys that was saying that was this beefsteak guy. So if we go over to his first couple of comments, unfortunately, for whatever reason, if we click on, as you can see, I'm in the notification tab. If I click on this, it actually doesn't take us anywhere. I'm not quite sure why. I didn't delete it because I guess it wouldn't really be showing here. But then if we go check his later comments, it actually does show up here. So I'm not quite sure why it doesn't come up. I'm assuming maybe you had a link or you were swearing or something like that and YouTube decided to censor it. But it's not because of me. And I very much encourage you guys, if you think I am deleting the comments, reach out to me on Twitter, Crypto Rob or Rob's Crypto YT, I think it is. So please do reach out, and I can't be deleting tweets. So now you can call me out all you want without deleting any comments. But with that being said, there were some pretty good retorts to me. I did we did have a little side conversation in regards to Simplex, which we'll do in another video because there's just too much. We don't want to ramble on too much either. I did like this video. I'm not sure why it removed my comment, but you can do a search for AK code and find a site with the Veterans Affairs Department referencing the AK Code Summit software. And while it doesn't seem like they use it, they did vet the software and describe what it generally does. Well, sure, that's great. It means the company exists, but it is so dodgy that they can't even get basic CSS right. They can't even do basic SSL. It's ridiculous. But let's go on. Now it goes on to say, you're talking about Safemoon's white paper when you are actually showing the roadmap. Well, yes, I do agree. But if we do go into the Wayback Machine and go back a month or so ago when I was looking at the roadmap to bring up these points that I made last episode, the roadmap was on the white paper section. Now that has changed, and as it should be, but the roadmap was on the white paper section, and this is exactly why I mentioned last episode why the white paper should be a PDF. That way there's no confusion about what they're claiming is in the white paper and what's on the roadmap, because the roadmap changes all the time. As I've mentioned as well, there's a complete lack of transparency. They've already failed to deliver a lot of things that they've said they would. There was a cookie clicker game back in April and March that they were building. back along with the Minecraft server. This cookie clicker game, this $4 billion cryptocurrency at market cap valuation, was building a cookie clicker game. Unbelievable. John Caroni has a lot of developers around him that know what they're doing. Well, this is another thing that I should bring up. In the previous Ask Me Anythings, one of the first ones in April, I believe it was, they mentioned that they had a team of 50 people working for them. Now, this is why the Video Hive stuff is so incriminating, because they had a team of 50 people, and yet they're using these Video Hive templates, and somehow through however many people they might have in their marketing team, they mentioned they had 50 people, which I believe is a complete and utter lie. But they said they had 50 people, and somehow these videos somehow managed to pass through however many people they had in their marketing team. I'm quite worried about that, but another red flag. Have you researched Thomas's history? Yes, he's moved around from job to job. It looks like he's struggling to get and maintain any jobs, to be quite honest. Are you certain he would be in on a crypto scam, Ponzi scheme? Yes. Unfortunately, he also looks like he's been involved he was taking narcotics during previous Ask Me Anythings, in my opinion. I'll be uploading these Ask Me Anythings as well with my commentary, so they can't take them down, and it is, of course, free speech. I'll be criticizing them. Because of course you can't really find them anywhere anymore, but I've downloaded them. Have I researched John? Yes, I sure have. That's coming in another video. Very exciting. Yes, of course you should always do your due diligence. There's a couple of nice little comments here as well, that a lot of people invested in Safemoon, and now they're having doubts, and they can see actually the other side of the coin, or the Kool-Aid, really. This is pretty much why I do these videos. It's not really for money. Well, I'm not making any money, and I'm not partnered with any company, and I'm not salty about not investing with Safemoon. Unfortunately, a lot of people lack so much integrity that think anyone making a video is getting paid to do it. That's not me. Have a look at BitConnect. There's a lot of people, like, say, if you search up BitConnect, BitConnect scammed me or something like that. There's people with, their testimonials, how they've lost everything. They put their life savings into this cryptocurrency and they lost everything. And it is truly tragic. And this is exactly why I'm doing these videos, because I don't want you guys to lose your money on this scam with these scammers running away with the bag. But until next time though, guys, there'll be another video coming up rather shortly. This is, of course, a new little project for me, so I definitely appreciate each and every one of you commenting and subscribing. Be sure to reach out to me on Twitter as well, but until next time, I'll see you guys later.